All right, what is going on, ladies and gentlemen? How is it going? I am Istherenoonelse, and the video I'm bringing you today, it is November 8th, the day before the console release. As you guys know, they changed the release date to Monday, November 9th. I wanted to go over this post from Gina Bruno, kind of talk about it, and it honestly has some pretty big implications in a few different ways for PvP. So with that being said, let's dive into it. Just posted this in the main thread, but wanted to cross-post to ensure it's seen and can be discussed here. First, we wanted to thank you all again for participating in Cyrodiil the last couple months while we held the various tests with AoE abilities. We know it was challenging to play at times, but running these tests on a live environment was the best way for us to test various hypotheses. I agree. We've talked about this quite a bit. We won't talk about it anymore. In reviewing the data for all the different tests, we did see some marked improvements in performance. On average, there was approximately a 25% reduction in the magnitude of server frame spikes and a slight reduction in the frequency of those spikes. While these improvements look good on a spreadsheet, they do not have a significant enough impact on improving the overall player experience. As a result, we will not be making any major changes at this time. Okay. So yeah, we talked a little bit about this in last week's video where I read some comments on the people that, were in, they participated in the PC PvP tests, and they basically said, a lot of these changes, they had little to no impact. Some people said, there was a noticeable improvement, but it wasn't great, which is basically what they're saying here. So they're saying they're not making any major changes, i.e. like rampant cooldowns. Yeah, so I think that's good news. There's no reason to change the game if it's not going to make, a market improvement. But that said, there were a few elements from the various tests that we decided to enable for both PC and console for the foreseeable future, as we liked the behavioral changes they brought. Starting on Monday, November 9th for consoles, November 16th for PC, we will be limiting group sizes in Cyrodiil to 12 players, and all allied target abilities will only apply to those in your group. This is a huge change. This is a huge change for overall PvP, and I wanted to talk about that here. Because, yeah, first of all, this was the week where people talked to me on my Discord, and they said this was the most noticeable change that they experienced. I'm just telling you guys what they told me. I'm not trying to give you any hope. I didn't play in this, so this is just, it's a game of telephone. But they basically said that they noticed a marked improvement when group sizes went down to 12. And what they said was, in the big keep battles, when you're fighting for EMP and, there's 40, 50 people in an area, yeah, they were still lagging, it's the same as it is always. But when they're on the outer, and smaller battles, the game actually functioned and they were actually able to, use their skills, and it felt noticeably better. We've talked about this a lot on this channel. Fangrush has talked about it. Limiting ally targeted heals and reducing the group to 12 players is huge. I even talked to Grimsforge Gaming a couple weeks ago on his podcast, and we talked about group checks, and I wanted to talk a little bit more about that here, and why this is such a big deal. But all ally targeted abilities will only apply to those in your group. So let's be honest. Let's talk about the hammer. The hammer is fun, okay? The hammer is so much fun to use. Like, you guys have seen clips of me and my group using it. Sakar had a ridiculous clip a few weeks ago where he wiped out like 30 people in a matter of 45 seconds. The hammer is fun. Like, it is a lot of fun. But the problem that the hammer provides is it creates a moving magnet for the map, because it's a map pusher. It pushes the map. So anybody that likes to play objectives, large groups of people, they want to get the hammer because, they're going to take down keeps faster. They're going to flip keeps. They're going to get more AP. And so you'll see these groups all come in. They're like, oh, crap, there's going to be lots of fights here, lots of kills for AP. So I'm going to put down a lot of AoE damage abilities, a lot of AoE healing abilities, and we're just going to reap in all the AP that we're going to get from large amounts of people battling there. Ball groups go to it to wipe out the hammer. It's one of the best ways to gain AP. It's one of the best ways to push the map. It's one of the most fun things in the game. But with that being said, it also clusters everybody to an area. And with the way the game currently functions, you have to run a bunch of different checks. And I talked about this a little bit in other videos, but look at rapid regen, right? Like, let's say I'm a healer and I'm running rapid regeneration and I have Troll King on. So I'm hitting rapid regen and I'm just spamming it. And because I want to, there's 50 people, 50 of my allies are in this area. I want to hit as many people with rapid regen as possible so that I get the AP ticks. You know, if they're taking damage, I want to make sure I'm getting AP ticks, right? So I'm spamming rapid regen, and it's going off to all these different players. So the rapid regen has to calculate, you know, okay, well, how much healing received do they have? Are they in heavy armor? Are they a dragonknight? How much healing per second do we need to do to that person? And then if you stack something like Troll King on top of it, we now have to perform checks for that monster set on every single person we're hitting. So if I'm just spamming rapid regen, you know, and it's hitting 2 or 3 people, and I hit 5 or 6 players, that's 12 people that if they drop below 60% health, it has to put in a health recovery modifier. And it's not just Troll King, you know, it's Earthgore, Chokethorn, you know, there's all these other sets out there that run these random checks. Bogdan, you know, all these sets run these checks in these areas, and then all of a sudden you get into these fights, and you know, this is just healing, and it goes to everybody in the area. Now, if you restrict it to only players in your group, if I spam rapid regen, it's only going to go to the 12 players in my group. I can't potentially hit more players in other areas. So it restricts the amount of checks that the system can potentially run. So if you get into these fights for the hammer, you know, you don't get this bogged down of server performance with all these different things, which I think is really nice. I think this is actually a big change. Now, the other big change, obviously, too, is 24-man group play has been around for a while. You know, I obviously don't really participate in it. It's not really my thing, but it's been a big aspect of PvP, and they're cutting it in half to try it out. Now, a lot of players in large groups are going to get upset about this, but the thing is, you know, there is guild chat. It's not going to impact large groups from running in large groups, you know, unless like if you're used to running in a 24-man and you're not in a guild, you know, yeah, you can't get in guild chat and coordinate with the other 12-man group. You know, that's just not going to happen. But there is ways to still run a 24-man group. You know, there's times on Xbox and PC where, you know, people are running multiple 24-mans at the same time. So splitting them up into 12s isn't going to be a big deal for a lot of players. So if you still want to participate in that type of group battles, you should probably find some guilds that still want to try and do 24-man groups and, you know, coordinate in guild chats and get that going. But yeah, it's a huge change. You know, we can't say that it's not a huge change to cut the maximum group size in half. So yeah, I think this has some exciting implications. Obviously, guys, I am not personally saying that the game is all of a sudden going to be fixed, you know, but I've been told that this change is actually pretty good. And it's, you know, whether or not performance improves, you know, it could stay the same. But whether or not performance improves, it's still important to discuss that group sizes are getting cut in half. So it's going to be a lot less coordination capabilities from big 24-man groups. They're going to have to communicate a little bit more. They're going to have to split up their groups in, you know, healing capabilities. You know, a 24-man group has a lot more healing capabilities than a 12-man group. So these large groups will be able to be killed a little bit easier. So 2 coordinating 12-mans won't have as much power split up as they do together. You know, that like if they coordinate, they'll still have quite a bit of power, but their, you know, overall healing power is going to be reduced quite a bit. So that makes sense, right? Like, you know, you have healers on one side, you have healers on the other side that can't, you know, hit everybody. So yeah, pretty exciting implications overall for PvP. If this makes a nice performance boost, I mean, we're going to overall be pretty happy. Obviously, you know, we need more, and like they said, they're still looking at stuff, but it's going to be interesting to see. They did all these individual tests to look at changes, right? You know, so they did the 12-man group sizes. They did these ally target abilities in different tests. And I'll be curious to see if they stack enough of these, if that's going to be, you know, if that's going to drastically increase performance. Because, yeah, I mean, you guys know on my channel, we've been talking about this quite a bit. It's cool that I think it's awesome that they listened to the community on reducing group sizes. That's, you know, that wasn't my idea. Fingrush brought it up. I'm sure a bunch of other players brought it up, but reducing the group size down to 12 players was definitely something worth testing just to see if that's what it is. I talked a lot about ally targeted abilities, and, you know, it made enough of an impact that after tests that they're introducing it. So it's really cool that, you know, the developers listened to the community on this, and they were willing to run the test, and that the test provided enough positive results that they're willing to incorporate it, and it isn't, you know, the game-changing AoE cooldown or AoE 3-second cooldown or ramping ability costs that, you know, we were all worried that it might be. So yeah, that is coming tomorrow for console and November 16th for PC, which, you know, this is probably the first time that console gets something before PC, but it is what it is. As for the next steps, we're going to take some time to consider future tests we'd like to run. None of these will occur until sometime after the new year. We'll be sure to let everyone know what types of tests we've decided on next, and we'll reconvene here in early 2021. Okay, so yeah, so we'll have to put on our thinking caps, and we'll have to try and figure out, you know, what other tests that we can, you know, ask them to try and test that we think could make improvements that they already haven't done. Yeah, the cool part here though is, you know, the community asked for this test. They gave the community this test and it worked. You know, it worked well enough to incorporate this change. And so hopefully, you know, we can continue working towards, you know, making this game perform better. Because I mean, guys, if like I've said this a billion times, but if you're this far in the video, you want this game to work. And so you can be as pessimistic as you want. You know, I'm not really super hopeful right now that it's getting better, but this is a good step in the right direction. You know, this is definitely a good thing that they're listening to the community on this, that they're working with the community on this. And even if it's a minor change in the right direction, it's still a good change with, you know, that's backed by the community. You know, it's not just them ramming through something that the community doesn't want. It's them listening and saying, hey, you know, we agree with you. We want to try it. We'll try this out. We'll see how it goes. So yeah, let's see what happens. Obviously, you know, I'm not in the future yet. You know, we're going to get the patch tomorrow. If you watch this video later on this week, you know, after the changes, let me know how you feel about performance. Because I'll probably talk about, like I said, I was going to do a performance video once the patch dropped. I have a lot of farming to do though. So it might take a little bit for that video. Yeah, if you guys have any questions or comments, as is always the case, please provide in the section below. We will plug a few quick things. I do have a Discord. The Discord is in the description. Feel free to go check it out. We have over 1,600 members there. Just a theory crafting Discord if you want to play a new class, if you're trying to figure out builds. A lot of really smart players in there. Some YouTubers, some Twitch streamers, some, you know, just good high MMR players, duelists, a little bit of everybody. You know, the only requirement is, you know, if you join, don't be an asshole. You know, everybody's entitled to their opinion. You know, even if you disagree with their opinion, you don't have to be a dick about it. You know, being a dick gets kicks. So that's it. So there's that. And yeah, I'll see you guys on the next video. Thank you for watching, guys. Have a nice day.